In the 7th round of the NH chess tournament, the oldest and the youngest player faced each other again. An interesting game, since in an interview on Monday, Korchnoi spoke quite positively about Caruana.
Well, what I had, I looked at the games of Carlsen, the games of Caruana, and somehow I had the feeling that Caruana is playing pure chess.
The Italian rising star was a bit better throughout the game, but in Korchnoi's time trouble he started playing fast and blundered an exchange. Here Caruana played a bit of a strange move, queen b5, which allows knight c3. Not a big problem if you go back to b6, but Caruana played queen b7, which does lose an exchange, after queen f3 because of the pin. However, before he could play queen f3, Korchnoi lost on time. Let's have a look at the final phase, including the time on Korchnoi's clock.
Well, he plays queen f3, and then he wins an exchange, actually. It was just a blunder. I mean, I can still play on with this position, with this blockade on d5, but I don't know, might just be losing.
That's what Korchnoi said as well. And then he made a bit of a disparaging comment.
He was very angry after he lost, of course. Actually, I think at the end he might just play queen f3, and I might have to fight for a draw after that. Because, well, I don't know what I did with these last two moves. Queen b5 especially. Okay, he just thought too much when he had a few seconds. He still had a few moves to go, so he should have played instantly.
But the experienced team did win a game. Evgeny Pereyev defeated Daniel Stellwagen in a rook ending. After the game, the Russian thought his opponent should have tried his luck in a pawn ending.
The only actually variation in which I was not sure if I win was check. And before now he played rook a8, and it looks like bad position. He could have taken and then played g5. The idea is to take, and then king goes to f6. And I don't know.
Apparently at this point Pereyev hadn't discovered yet that white can win quite easily here. h4, h5 instead of taking on g5. Then with f2, f4 white has a breakthrough. The third winner of the day was Erwin Lamy. With a nice trick he had won a pawn against Lubomir Lebojevic. In this position he took on d4 with the bishop. White cannot take back because of knight takes d4, queen d1, rook e1 check, queen takes e1, knight takes f3 check. So instead, white played knight takes d5 first, to be able to go to d3 with the queen, but after this black was a healthy pawn up. To win the game was still very difficult for Lamy, because Lebojevic could blockade black's d-pawn with all his pieces. However, at some point the Serbian grandmaster decided to win back the pawn, but this compromised his king's position far too much. White's idea was answered by the strong move rook e4, and it's clear how weak white's pawns and his king are. Lebojevic had to throw in the towel, and he did it by signing the score sheets. The last news item of the day is the end of Wang Yue's amazing winning streak. After 6 victories, the Chinese warrior was finally held to a draw by the Norwegian Grandmaster Simen Agestein. After the 7th round, the score is now 24.5, 10.5.